Scorpion wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
Hello, this is Tom from the UBR, and today we'll be talking about Mortal Kombat, well, technically Mortal Kombat 9. Made by NetherRealm Studios, the masterminds behind the indirect creation of the ESRB, bring you a slightly violent game. Mortal Kombat's story encompasses the story of the 3 arcade games all in one. It opens up with everybody dead but Raiden, who is practically like Electro and has the power of lightning, and he telepathically tells his former self to prevent certain events from happening and altering the past to prevent the death of pretty much everything. I never played the original Mortal Kombat games as I was not around for the era of fatality in public M-rated games, so this was my first time jumping in. As somebody that saw this as comic relief and views Saw as comic relief, I had no problems with the violence whatsoever. The controls are fairly simple, with 4 different kinds of attacks: light, medium, heavy, and alternate. In conjunction with the D-pad, these make for different attacks like trips and jump kicks. Then, there are special attacks, which have increased power and have special animations, and usually supernatural power to them. Just a strong attack will be like maybe a trip or an uppercut, but a special attack, for example with Raiden, might be shooting lightning across the room. It seems straightforward. As you deal and take damage, a little bar in the corner will fill with X energy. When it's 1 bar filled out of 3, you can make a special attack supercharged, making it last longer. For example, making Scorpion's attack last longer and deal more damage. With 2 blocks filled, you can execute a combo breaker, which stops your opponent from pummeling every single drop of blood from your body. You can use a special bar to link combos and pummel your enemy to no end, but I don't have the attention span for that. I tried multiple times and failed, and it's not very accessible.
Oh, you can stay, but I'm leaving.
Yellow if they're using late season apples. And of course in Canada the whole thing's flip-flop.
But those who master it become extremely powerful. The 3rd bar triggers the new and already infamous X-ray moves, where you devastate your opponent with brutal moves, and upon contact, you get X-ray vision of what was hurt. It's a cool experience, although maybe a bit too much for those weak of stomach. When you finish a match, there is a victor. The screen will also say finish for him, and you will have the option of executing any attack. Those with a vicious sense of humor or sick thoughts will execute a fatality. These are gut-wrenching and heart-throbbing moves, get it, that literally rip you in 2. Here's a fatality just to show for example.
Kung Lao wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
Now, the stages themselves do have environments of their own, with things going on. For example, one stage has lava in the background, and lava spills and explosions going on, while the other one has people stringed up and being dipped into acid piles. Yes, it's disgusting, but for the first time it showed significant technology when it came to animated backgrounds. Mortal Kombat, though, is a game aiming at a specific audience. Although the gore and technical allure is great, it only has 2 uses. A. Picking up with friends and just having fun, like I did with a future newcomer, or B, going to town and trying to master the fighting moves as you make others rage or attempt to overthrow you, and you become an unspeakable threat.
What kind of person would do this?
Gentlemen, we are dealing with someone here who has absolutely no life.
I forgot to mention that with the stages, they also have their own custom fatalities, so you can kind of interact with the background with what's going on. For example, my favorite stage fatality is one where you can take someone and shove their head into a pool of lava and literally make their face melt off. So, the game does have different modes. There's Arcade, where you pick any character and go up a ladder of fights up to the main antagonist, Shao Kahn. Then there's Tag Team Arcade, pretty much the same thing, but with 2 people on each team. However, one quick comment about it is necessary. Once you pass round 8, you fight Goro and Shao Kahn. Goro is a multi-armed ponytailed tiger creature incest being, and Shao Kahn is a very tall man who uses a hammer and reminiscently Green Lantern-ish powers. These foes use very noobish tactics, such as spamming one specific move, making you resort to their level of jump, floor kick, floor em, rinse and repeat. This destroys any sense of potential the boss fights have, which is sadly the case with a large number of fighters. Then there's the Crypt, where you collect crypt currency from your arcade fights and use it to buy fatalities and concept art. But other than fatalities, most of the things in these crypts are useless, which does make me partially sad. Or at least they could have labeled where the fatalities are, so you don't have to spend hours to get some concept art you'll never look at or care about again. That's just a nitpick. Then they do have multiplayer, where multiple people can kick each other's asses in what gets to be frankly chaotic multiplayer hell. There is inevitably that player that beats you and makes you get all mad for nothing. Mortal Kombat comes with good and bad, but that makes a great mix. It makes fun matches and a fun game overall. The online does consist of random matches, but my favorite was King of the Hill, where it enters a bunch of people into a server, and there's the King of the Hill, who is a champion. One by one, others will try to usurp the champion's crown and become the King of the Hill. As you become the King of the Hill, your bounty gets higher and you get a certain amount of crypt coins, if I remember correctly, if you win. If you're not fighting though, it's not boring. You can actually spectate the fight going down and watch what's happening. And yes, it does alleviate the boredom, and you can even place bets on who's going to win. Now, in my unbiased opinion, it's overrated. Not in gameplay though. Hold your horses though. I think it's overrated in controversy. It's gotten every single conservative motherly group up in arms about the violence. NetherRealm did go under massive scrutiny upon release, as the protesters said they shouldn't release violent games.
Jax win.
I can't get apart. I can't get across how I feel about this.
What are you, fucking stupid?
I was raised initially with Monsters Inc. on the PlayStation 2, but I was raised gradually into learning what violence was, and how terrible it is in real life. Truth is, you should be at an age where you know between right and wrong that innocence is worn off. Hell, what do these mothers have to complain about? The ESRB was birthed by Mortal Kombat being so goddamn violent. And then the mothers have the nerve to complain that these games are not for young children? As those that think it's unnecessarily violent, yes, you're right. At least you're not completely stupid. But does that mean it should be silenced? No. And at least one person can say it.
It's funny because it's true.
No. In fact, it's just another form of media. There's nothing anybody can or should do to keep it silenced. Away from immature ears, yes, but not silenced. Criminal Minds is an amazing show, but they have so much dark stuff going on in it, but nobody seems to care because it's TV. People tend to fear what they don't understand, and unfortunately that 80s stereotype of gaming being for young children, adults still don't know enough to realize, hey, that stereotype isn't true anymore. Most games nowadays, if they are made for children, are very formulaic and quite frankly, they're shit. Look at Spider-Man games. However, you can turn around and look at adult games. Yes, they're a lot more violent, but you can also tell that they're a lot more well-made. Adults just generalize and they don't realize this, and they think that all these games are for children. And obviously the mothers against violence are too retarded to read the rating on the back of the box, or they're just fucking deaf when the guy in GameStop says, you do know that this game is rated M for violence, sexual content, all that. The mother just goes, I guess I'll just file a lawsuit tomorrow. The people that complain about video game violence seriously do make me sick, but this game was one of the worst cases of it. Now I'm actually going to get back to the game and my conclusion. In conclusion, Mortal Kombat was a game that came along when not many excellent fighting games were around, as the last Mortal Kombat was quite pathetic. This one was different, and it set bars and limits that even rival games today in the fighting genre. In my opinion, Mortal Kombat is to fighting games as Arkham City is to superhero games. It is the epitome and the best. And for a long time it will be hard to top, as many have tried, but all have failed. And aside from minor nitpicks, the game is very solid. Although if you're not in its target audience of casual group plays or hardcore gamers, you might want to miss out on this one. And if you're a bitchy little squeamish mother, you might want to miss out too. I'll give Mortal Kombat a 9 out of 10, because I think it deserved this. The only thing detracting from it is the somewhat pathetic boss battles, but for the most part this game is extremely solid. It's fun to play multiplayer online, multiplayer with your buddies, or single player. I mean, this game is just for anybody that is a hardcore fighting fan, or just a fan of fighting in general. Or if you just want to pop in a disc, have fun with your friends, and rip their heart out. Well guys, this was Tom from the UBR, and all of you have a good day.